Here we go again.
What goes, everybody, and welcome back to a new Blu-Ray haul slash Laserdisc slash channel update video. I want to thank everybody for checking out the last video. I didn't know how well it was going to do, and it's the video that had the most views in quite some time. So thank you guys so much for watching that. So I figured I'd go ahead and do another one. As always, if you guys like what you see here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Always let me know what you guys would love to see. You guys are the content drivers, I am the content creator. So, as you can see in the video, I've got Blu-Rays, I've got 4k's, and I have Laserdiscs. So, for those of you, I have been collecting Laserdiscs. I have not had very many, and I bought a good amount this past month, and I wanted to share that with you. So, actually, I think that's what we're going to start with first, since I don't have near as many of those as I do the Blu-Rays and 4k's. So we're going to get those out of the way, because I think it's very special. I'm really excited to show you guys, and we're going to hop right into it. Laserdisc number 1. Jerry Maguire, starring Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger, and Cuba Gooding Jr. Really good sports romantic comedy. If you have not watched it, definitely check it out. It's a really good one. While on the topic of Tom Cruise, Top Gun, the original. So yes, I have it on 4K Blu-ray and now Laserdisc, and I think this is going to be a really cool addition to have. And I just love this old school poster artwork that this has. So really happy to have this 80s classic in my collection. Paul Verhoeven's Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas. This has been a movie I've been wanting to see for quite some time, and I'm really looking forward to watching this movie because it's been on my to see list, and I'm just really looking forward to watching this really good 90s thriller. The Enforcer, starring Humphrey Bogart. I have not heard anything about this movie. I've never even heard of this movie till I saw it. I do love old school classic Hollywood cinema, and I do like Humphrey Bogart, so I've not watched it yet, but I am really looking forward to diving into it. The Hustler, starring Paul Newman and Jackie Gleason, has been another one that's been on my to see list, as well as the sequel, The Color of Money, which if you don't know, is directed by Martin Scorsese and also stars a really young Tom Cruise. But I knew before I watched that I had to watch The Hustler, even though The Hustler has been on my to see list. I'm really happy to have this, and it's still sealed in the plastic, as well as the next one, Oklahoma, which is a really good musical. If you guys haven't seen it, it's classic Rodgers and Hammerstein as young Shirley Jones, who would later be in one of my favorite musicals, The Music Man. I'm really happy to have this in my collection. It is also sealed. It is the widescreen THX version. I'm just really happy to have this. I love the artwork, and I do want to get a modern upgrade at some point, because part of me doesn't want to open this or The Hustler, but I am really happy to have this in my collection as well. Cinderella, the original from 1950. What a classic Disney movie. The last three are very special because they're more of like music slash concert videos. So I really want to sit down and watch these, or I could throw it on while I'm doing something, but I'm really glad to have these. And those are Nat King Cole, the incomparable Nat King Cole, I should say, Harry Connick Jr., and Wynton Marsalis. Someone I really looked up to in terms of when I was playing my instrument way back in my high school and college days. He's one of my favorite instrumentalists. He's such a great musician, and I'm looking forward to watching this as well. And lastly, Sleepless in Seattle. What a great romantic comedy this is, with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, written and directed by Nora Ephron. It's one I definitely revisit every Valentine's Day, and I'm just happy to have this movie. Now for the meat and potatoes of this haul, the Blu-Rays and 4Ks, of which I have many. Like usual, I will not talk and ramble on these a lot, mainly because there's way too much to get through. I may say a few things about each one, but otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into it, and we're going to start with animated first. First one, Madagascar. Madagascar 2 and Madagascar 3, which I actually have not seen, but I definitely had to get all three. I bought, I think, 2 and 3 at one time, and then later actually ended up finding the first one. So, really glad to have all 3 of these in my collection. How to Train Your Dragon, really great, great movie. Just need to get the 2 and 3, which I actually haven't seen 3, but really good. Another really good animated movie by DreamWorks. Monsters vs. Aliens, which is okay, but I kind of felt like I needed to get this one. Not that I really needed it, but I figured it'd be a somewhat semi-entertaining animated movie, and one that would be interesting to revisit at some point. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2. I remember seeing this many years ago in theaters when it came out. I think when I was in middle school, and I've never seen the second one. So I knew if I got one, I had to get the other one. So another one of those instances, I had to have both. So looking forward to revisiting this, and very curious to see what this is going to be like. Open Season, another animated movie I remember watching in the theaters with my family, actually. One of those movies, once again, not a great animated movie, but I do have a lot of memories watching this with my family in the theaters, especially with my brothers, on home video. So that's why I have this one. Don't know if I'm going to get the sequels. I don't even think I've seen the sequels. There's like 2, and then I think a holiday special. Don't know if I'm going to get any of those, but definitely glad I got at least the first one. Ice Age and Ice Age The Meltdown. I do know there's like 3 other sequels and like some spin-offs. I'll probably get the third. I'll have to debate on getting 4 and 5, but I did for sure want to at least get these 2, because out of them all, I think these are the better ones. But really glad to have this, especially the first one, because I remember when this movie came out, I remember renting it at the library. So glad to have these as well. Epic, which I've heard nothing but epic things. Alright, not a great joke, but definitely one I've been meaning to see, and I'm really curious how this is going to be. If you guys have seen this, let me know what you guys think. As of recording this video, I have not seen it, but I'm definitely interested to see what this movie is about. The Book of Life, another one I've heard a lot of great things about and have not seen. This was a recommendation. When I saw that the person had it that I got this from, I knew how to check it out. Now I have it. Really curious to look into it. It gives me kind of like stop motion Coco vibes, but I'm definitely very, very curious about this. Robots, another childhood memory for me, because once again, I remember seeing this in the theaters with my family, and I actually really do enjoy this one. Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole. The standard Blu-ray version. At some point I would like to get the 3D copy, because I hear it's actually really good, and directed by Zack Snyder, surprisingly. I've heard some really good things about this one too. I knew I had to check this one out, with especially how many people say it's surprisingly great. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking this out. Fantastic Four, the first one. So now I have both of the originals. Once again, like I've said about the second one, not a great superhero movie, but one I definitely remember growing up watching and have some form of entertainment watching them. So yeah, knew I had to get the first if I had the second. And sure enough, here it is. The Green Hornet. That's all I'm gonna say, because once again, like Lone Ranger, no. Flash Gordon has been on my to-see list, and got this for a pretty cheap price. I'm really looking forward to watching it. It's not the box set that Arrow did, but even so, really curious to check out this cult classic. While we're on the topic of Flash Gordon, Ted 2! Because I have the first one and knew I had to get the second one, so now I have Ted 2. Paul, which I don't think I've seen all the way through at all, but it's one that I really felt like revisiting, and I do love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost together, and it actually has a really surprisingly big cast, so definitely looking forward to actually, I'd say revisit, but I guess watch the entirety of this, because I think it's going to be a very interesting watch. Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2. I do find entertainment in these, not gonna lie. I am missing the third. Been a while since I've seen either of these. I remember this one a decent amount. I don't really remember much of this one, but what can I say? I do love music, and these definitely have some decent covers, so I'm looking forward to revisiting these. Ford v Ferrari, which I hear is really great. I got my youngest brother this for his birthday, and yet I myself have not seen this, and I'm actually really looking forward to checking this out. Bull Durham, a classic baseball movie that I've been meaning to mark off my list, and since now I have it, at some point I can check it off. Moneyball, another really good baseball movie that actually doesn't deal too much with baseball, but more so like about scouting, which is very interesting, and I have not seen this in a long while as well, but really want to revisit at some point. The Blind Side, which I understand has a lot of backlash around this time right now, but I do actually, even if some of this is kind of fictionalized, I do kind of enjoy this movie. I'm not going to lie, and I remember watching this when it came out in theaters. Gran Torino, which is a movie I have not seen in a long while. It's one of those that has kind of a downer of an ending, I won't say what it is, and has a lot of racially charged comedy in it, which kind of has me uneasy sometimes, which I get is supposed to be part of Eastwood's character in it, but nonetheless, an interesting movie I'm very curious into diving into again at some point. Staying Alive, the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, which is, strangely enough, directed by Sylvester Stallone, which I remember have started. I have not finished this yet. It's kind of more like a Dancing Rocky from what I hear, which to me isn't necessarily a bad thing. I feel like it's going to be a lot of style, but nonetheless, one that I really want to finish at some point, and I'm just really glad it has an update, because otherwise you can only get on, like, I think DVD and VHS and Laserdisc. So finally glad it has an update, and I'm really glad to have the sequel in my collection. This Is It, Michael Jackson's This Is It. Honestly, don't know why I have this, but I think it'll make for a really interesting movie to watch. Pillow Talk with Rock Hudson and Doris Day. Love like old school movies from like the 50s and 60s. Like I said, love classic cinema. I do love Doris Day. Not really, I don't think I've seen anything with Rock Hudson, but I'm very curious to watch this movie. I looked at the trailer. Very interesting premise, and seems like a really funny romantic comedy. Les Miserables. Curious to revisit this one, but honestly, in my opinion, is kind of an overrated movie, but nonetheless, like I stated before, I love my musicals, and this sure enough is one I knew I had to get in my collection. Waterfall Elephants, which honestly, I don't know much about. This was one I got purely as a recommendation from a friend of mine, and I'm really curious to watch this, especially considering I know nothing about this. I hear it is a bit sad, but I am very interested to see what this movie is about. Unbroken, which is a movie surprisingly directed by Angelina Jolie, and I hear is really good. I've been wanting to watch this movie for quite some time now, and I'm really glad I have this, because I think it's going to be an incredible movie to check out, especially around like Independence Day. Pearl Harbor, not a great World War II movie, especially considering it's Michael Bay. I remember the writing being very weak, the performance being way too over the top, but of course the Pearl Harbor scene is incredibly well done. But nonetheless, another one of those movies I think garners at least a watch every Memorial Day or Independence Day or Veterans Day. Red Tails, movie I've not seen in quite some time, but honestly I'm really forward to watching again, and is surprisingly a Lucasfilm movie of all things. Fury with Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf and John Bernthal and a few others. I remember watching this in theaters, having kind of a really unsettling sort of feeling as to if I liked it or not, and then upon clips and snippets I've seen of it since, I've kind of come around more on this movie. But I'm, once again, really looking forward to sitting down and revisiting this, because I think I'm going to like it a second watch through. I think there's only one other movie I've had that feeling, and I won't get till next month. So, to be continued for next month, I guess. Cliffhanger. I love a good cheesy 1980s action movie. I do really like Sylvester Stallone, and I've honestly not seen this movie. I know John Lithgow is the villain, funny enough, but I'm really looking forward to watching this for the first time and just having a blast with a really cheesy, over-the-top action movie. Jumanji: The Next Level, G.I. Joe: Rise of the Cobra, and G.I. Joe: Retaliation, with a really cool lenticular slip, which is really neat. Another one of those instances, I know that these aren't like really great movies, but I feel like are ones that are like mindless entertainment that you can sit back and eat some popcorn with. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I remember this being very boring, but I honestly have it because I have the first Fantastic Beasts and all the other Harry Potter movies, and I found it only fair to get some of these later ones. I think the only one I lack is The Secrets of Dumbledore, which I honestly haven't seen, but so this is one I'll probably have to revisit at some point and see if it's just as boring as I remember. Dragon Age: Dawn of the Seeker, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which I've honestly I've not seen, and is weirdly enough a Disney adaptation of a video game franchise with Jake Gyllenhaal, which is very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to like this. I bought it out of sheer curiosity. I say that because it's a Jerry Bruckheimer production made after Pirates of the Caribbean, which makes me very hesitant because of another Jerry Bruckheimer adaptation of a very popular franchise that I detest and loathe beyond a shadow of a doubt. It shall not be named. So yeah, very curious to watch this. I'm sure it can't be any worse than the other one, but guess I'll find out. Sucker Punch, another Zack Snyder movie. I hear this is absolutely bonkers, but honestly, I'm kind of curious about this one. Wanted, The Bourne Identity, The Bourne Supremacy, The Bourne Ultimatum, and The Bourne Legacy. I do not have Jason Bourne. I'm probably going to have to get that, even though I think that movie's an absolute bore. But I'm really glad to have the entire Bourne franchise for the most part. I've seen Identity, really like it. I have yet to watch Supremacy and Ultimatum, which I hear are also absolutely great. And I have seen Legacy. I actually don't hate this movie. It's not as good as the other three, but I definitely like it better than Jason Bourne. And I think it's an interesting sidestep from the main franchise. But yeah, I am kind of glad I do have these four in my collection. Angels and Demons and Inferno, which are part of the Robert Langdon universe. The only one I mentioned is the Da Vinci Code, which honestly I've not watched any of these. I know that Ron Howard has directed them, and I am kind of honestly curious to look into them. I know they're not great movies, but I think the concepts behind them are fascinating, almost like a National Treasury sort of mystery, sort of like not quite treasure hunting, but like detective style movies about like classic literature and like spiritual interest. So I'm very curious to dive in these movies. The Girl on the Train, it's one of those movies that I have the book, kind of want to read the book. It's kind of in the same vein as like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I am very curious about this movie. I was interested when I saw the trailers for this movie way back when. I know it's not going to be a great mystery, but definitely one with some interesting sort of storytelling. The Lincoln Lawyer. I've been watching Bosch on Amazon Prime, which is another Michael Connelly sort of adaptation in the same universe as The Lincoln Lawyer, and I've been really liking it. I know that there was a Netflix series based around this character, So I knew I had to get this in my collection and rewatch it, so I do have it again. I'm glad to have it again. I'll have to watch this, and I'm really curious to check out the Netflix series as well. And that'll do it for this monthly haul. Once again, I know this is a long video. I do hope you guys did enjoy this, and I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think about these movies. Have you seen some of these? Have you not seen some of these? What are your thoughts on some of these? As always, thank you guys for stopping by. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this and some others. I do have some stuff planned for the future, especially around Halloween season, which we're starting to get into, and I do have some Disney movies I've been meaning to talk about. I know I'm very behind on my Walt Wednesdays. I apologize to you guys that have been really enjoying that series. I'm going to do Saludos Amigos and the Three Calabrios next. I'm going to bundle those together because those kind of go hand in hand. Be sure to be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys once again for stopping by. I appreciate you guys as always, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.